Hey guys, this is Danks87. Today we're going to be talking about movie cameras and how you can best use them. So for your films, you're going to want to use sequencers along with movie cameras. So what I like to do is get out a piece of sticker panel, make it look like a play symbol, and then I make it completely invisible, and then I will stick on a microchip. Then inside this microchip we are going to add in our sequencer. Okay, so we need quite a lot of room, so just extend it, make it nice and large. Then we're going to get out our first movie camera. Pop that into the beginning of the sequencer. Now each column in the sequencer is set as a default to 1 second. So you can play around with that as much as you want. So the length that the camera is on, so that's on 4 seconds at the moment, which means that the camera will last for 4 seconds. Because it is the first camera, it's set to cut and you cannot change it. Now when we make the next camera, if you leave an overlap between the two cameras, it means that it will take a second to do the transition between the cameras. So if we make it hard pan and then move the camera to where we want it to go to, the next scene. Good tip for testing: if you press square anywhere on the sequencer, it will start playing from that point. As you can see, it took just a second to go between those two. If we move the camera and make the overlap longer, so now it's 2 columns, it will now take 2 seconds to do the transition. A lot slower, you see. Pressing square onto the sequencer a second time will stop the playback. Okay, now I've made it a 3 column overlap, and now it is a lot slower. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. So we're going to have another second overlap. But this time we're going to go all the way over to this one, and we're going to use a fade. Now you can do the exact same with these, changing the amount of columns you have in between will change the length of the fade in between. You can also add a colour to the fade. So if you don't just want it to be a black fade, you want it to be a red fade, then go with red and increase the lighting. You can stop it from fading audio or have the audio fade, it's up to you. So we're going to hit square again and test. As you can see, the red fade worked. I'm going to turn the red fade off because it was a bit too much. We're just going to leave it as a black fade. So overlap to do the transition. When it's not overlapping, it is holding the camera into position. To find using different angles in different parts makes it have a very good feel. So the one we've just added is a zoom fade, which looks just like that. Now we're going to go back into showing different variations of movement. I'm going to show you keyframes. So this is the end position that I want my camera to end up in. Between there and the previous, I would like it to go here. So when we play that, I'm going to start it from here. From the top it goes there, then to there. But it only uses the time the overlap is in. So at the moment it's only 1 second, so we're going to extend that to be 3 seconds. Now when we play it, it will look a lot smoother. And there you have it. You can add as many keyframes as you wish. Just remember that it takes only the amount of time on the overlap. So let's say we had another keyframe to be looking at this guy. Now when we play it, it's got 3 frames altogether. And there we have it. Playing with the movie camera is all trial and error. Watch, re-watch, making sure you've got the perfect speeds, perfect angles, making everything perfect. Alternatively, as opposed to using keyframes, you can actually just use different camera positions and different cameras. So we're going to use this first one, which was up here. It's going to be the main camera angle for this camera. We're then going to copy this, make it a little bit shorter, and copy this, and this way I can get the transition time to be exactly what I want, as opposed to being all put into one camera and squished together. We can distinguish exactly how long the gap between the movements are and how long the transition itself takes. So now I've made them all approximately 1.5 transition time. Cut is the exception to the rule. The transition time does not take any time when cutting. It is instantaneous, regardless of overlaps. And those are the basics of using a movie camera inside sequences to get your transitions right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Keep tuned for more. Don't forget to visit Default Couch for podcasts, showcases and couch plays. Cheers.